that our podcast wanted to get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
When you hit 1,000 subscribers, it allows you to do so much more. You have the ability to go live from different events, things like that. And Games Weekend, we really wanted to kind of go live and do some commentary of the games, but we couldn't because we don't have enough subscribers. So I reached out to Dave, and he has agreed to sponsor this kind of giveaway that we're doing in our road to 1,000. And that is every time we hit a new century mark, we're going to give away an RX jump rope, the original RX jump rope. You get to pick the colors, you get to pick the thickness of the rope, but we want to give away a rope every 100 new subscribers we get. The key to that is you have to be a public profile when you subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. If you're public, I get to see your name. And so that way we can draw from those names and give away that jump rope every 100 subscribers. And so we are super stoked about this. We wanted to do something fun with it, and Dave and his team came up with this kind of concept, and we're really excited to keep moving forward with that.
Yeah, we're excited to help you along with that. And something I didn't tell you, but I might as well put it out there. We're going to throw some other little goodies in there. We're not going to say what they are, but and it may be different every single time, but whoever wins is going to get some extra little stuff in there. So it should be fun.
That's awesome. And so make sure you hit that subscribe button. Tell your friends, tell your family, because the faster we get to the next century mark, the next time we draw for another rope, and you're involved, whether you are the first subscriber or the 1,000th subscriber, you're still eligible to win in these giveaways.
So tell us about, is this Leighton?
Yeah, this is Leighton. Yep, he just turned 6 months old. Yep, and he doesn't stop moving except for right after a nap.
So just like Dad.
So yeah, how was that like, training and having a 6-month-old?
So a lot of the stuff that it like would affect me for like training and stuff, it didn't, because my wife, like at night for my sleep, my wife would get up and take care of him. And then, so my wife works too as a teacher, but due to this whole like coronavirus stuff, I mean, she stays home. But when I go and train, I train at my like parents' shop. So when I'm there, my family takes care of him. So like one of my sisters or my mom or something. So definitely super blessed with that.
So, but before we get too far into the interview, I'm Scott, and this is my co-host Amy. I'm the one that's been in touch with you by email.
Okay.
So it's really nice to meet you, Samuel. And
yeah, nice to meet you as well.
Are you good with Sam, or do you like Samuel?
You can call me Sam. Okay. Most people call me Sam. Yep.
All right. And for our listeners, this is Sam Kwant, the second fittest man in the world, just crowned a couple weeks ago. So we're really excited for him.
Heck yeah.
And you actually are one of 7 siblings, or you are one of 6?
One of 6. Yep. One of 6. Mm-hmm.
So what is that like?
Dude, honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. We were all homeschooled too. I mean, shoot, my mom's crazy. Yeah, we were all homeschooled. It was super nice. I mean, we all hang out and we're all like super close and still are super close. So, I mean, super blessed with that. And I really enjoy hanging out with my siblings. I see a lot of other families that, I mean, they're not as close as me and my siblings are. So, I mean, it's awesome, and it's been awesome.
And are you the oldest?
I am the second oldest. So no, I'm not the oldest. I got an older brother.
Okay, cool. And I know you have a couple of your siblings are actually your workout partners.
Yeah. So I work out with most of my siblings, like on and off, but I mean, consistently I work out with pretty much every morning my little brother and little sister. So I believe one of them's 20, and then my little brother is 14. And I mean, some people better start watching out for him, because he's getting pretty good.
I was going to ask, like, are they getting into that competitive thing, or just doing it for fun?
I think so. Who's competitive right now is my younger brother. I mean, I don't know if you know too much about the Open, but there's like the teen online qualifier, master qualifier. So as a 14-year-old, like a super young 14-year-old, he made it to that qualifier. But I mean, he wasn't near strong enough. He just had crazy cardio. So I mean, he still made it, which is super impressive. And then my dad also, he is 57, I believe. So he's in the 55 to 60, and he actually made the qualifier too. So, I mean, definitely some competitive genes running the family. And so it's super exciting for sure. So like I said, little brother's getting super strong. So some people better start watching out for him in the next couple of years.
And if he's training with the second fittest man in the world, I mean, that's pretty good training.
Yeah, that helps too. I mean, after the games I took a full week off, and then last week I was doing like one workout. I mean, making up fun stuff. So definitely not hard. And then like actually started training again today, and I think he kicked my butt by like 3 or 4 minutes. So he keeps me humble too, for sure.
So when that competitive season hits, are you just as excited for them as you are for yourself?
Oh, definitely. I mean, sometimes I feel like I'm just as happy to see my brother and my dad succeed as I am for myself. So yeah, 100%. It's fun watching them too.
That's really awesome.
It's
a fun thing to get to know you. And you grew up in Mount Vernon, Washington.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, there's Mount Vernon, and then we actually lived in like Conway. I don't think many people know where it is, but it's right by Mount Vernon.
So yes. What side of Washington is it? That coastal side, or is it more the mountain side?
It is more. It's pretty close to the mountainside. Okay. It's honestly kind of it's kind of in between. We live in like a little valley kind of area. It's called Skagit Valley. Okay.
And what was it like growing up there?
I mean, in Washington, I mean, super pretty, always green and stuff like that. I mean, it definitely rains a lot and it's cold a lot of the time, but I mean, the scenery around here is beautiful, but definitely a lot of rain, not too much sun.
So what kind of sports did you do then growing up?
Like from like 3 to 12 years old, I mean, I pretty much did everything you think of: soccer, baseball, basketball. And then when I entered high school, I actually pretty much stuck to cross country, which is kind of weird. I mean, I kind of suck at running now, but I do have a cross country background. Did 2 years of cross country, and I mean, I was decent, like second on varsity or something like that. But I mean, that was 75 pounds ago, so not the best runner anymore. But that's kind of what I did before CrossFit. But I did get into CrossFit pretty young. I was like 15 years old or something like that.
So your wife's name is Elise?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And you met her how?
Through cross country, actually. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's funny, like high school sweethearts, yep.
So she was a cross country runner?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's cool. Is she still active? Does she work out or do anything like that?
Yeah, she works out with me, usually in the afternoon after work, like 3. So she usually tries to join me for one of my afternoon sessions or one of my afternoon pieces.
And you said she's a teacher?
Yeah, she's a teacher. But I mean, like I said, due to the whole virus stuff going on right now, she is working from home, which has been super nice with having a newborn for me.
Yeah, I'm still working from home and I'm not a teacher. So
there we go.
So you have a dog, Nara?
Yes, I do. Yep.
And she looks like, is it a she or a he?
Yeah, it's a she. Yep. Mm-hmm.
She looks like she likes to hang out with you as you're working out. So it's almost like another workout partner.
Yeah. So yeah, she goes pretty much everywhere with us in the car. Dude, you did your research.
I do. Yeah.
Did you see the cat too or no?
Yeah. The cat named Cal.
I'm sure you're going to get to it. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The cat named Cal.
The cat's kind of got on the back burner since we had Leighton though. So he ain't around as much, but they used to ride with us everywhere, and that would get a little embarrassing. We used to have a Honda Accord that had like a sunroof, and our dog Nara would have her paws like on the center console, head out the window, and then I got this. When I'm driving, I have this fluffy cat just behind my neck, like looking out the window, just right on my left shoulder. So I mean, you stop at stoplights, and you see people to your left taking pictures of you or videos of you because you got a stinking dog with their head out the window in the sunroof, and then a fluffy cat just on your shoulder. So I know made some people's day with that. Got some interesting animals.
I saw some footage with you driving and the cat around your neck doing an interview, which was very comical. But the cat seemed very comfortable.
Yeah, he's super comfortable with that.
And so for our listeners, how did you come up with the name Cow for your cat?
Yeah, so when he was younger, he had a couple of black spots on his head. I mean, he kind of looked like a cow a little bit, so hence the name Cow came from. Yeah, people think it's insulting to call him Cow now because he lost those black spots and he's just pure white cat.
So you love animals. You grew up in an area where it almost looked like your family was very self-sufficient.
Yeah.
You had chickens. Where you raise your own eggs and stuff like that. Were there any other animals on the property or just chickens?
Oh yeah, dude. It was like a miniature farm. They got cats, they got dogs, they got chickens, they got ducks. At one point they had a couple pigs, bunnies. They got like tortoise too right now that I didn't take. That it was my tortoise, but I didn't want to take it, so it's still there.
And those things live forever.
Yeah, I know. I think I bought that like 5 years ago, and they're like, "Oh, it'll live to be 50 years old." I'm like, "Okay, hopefully I outlive this thing. We'll see."
If not, Leighton's got a companion.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and then you have an affection for ducks.
Yeah, that's kind of
in your
my
little
thing.
Home gym. You have ducks kind of painted and around.
Yeah, we got some ducks drawn on the wall. We got like a duck box jumps, and there's some like decoys that are up on a little shelf thing. So yeah, definitely like when I was younger, that was the thing that I took care of. My older brother took care of the chickens, and I took care of the ducks, which my older brother would like sell the chicken eggs. And I don't know if people know, but ducks don't lay very many eggs. So they're mostly just for fun. So I didn't get much money out of that.
Short end of the stick.
Yep, exactly.
So I saw a post you made. I think it was at the age of 15, you had the goal that you wanted to podium at the CrossFit Games.
I mean, that was the whole goal. I mean, when I started this, so yep, 100%.
And so that would have been like 2011.
Yeah.
In the infancy
I did, so yeah.
In the infancy of CrossFit. How did you find CrossFit and make that your goal?
Yeah, so I mean, I was doing cross country, getting a little bit bored of running, to be honest. And then my mom had a friend. I don't know if you know Matt Moe. Mo Kelsey. He podiumed in like 2008 or something at the games. I think he got like third or something like that. But she was friends with him, and then my mom said I would like the CrossFit thing, so I went and hit a class and kind of got hooked ever since.
That's quite the drive for a 15-year-old.
Yeah, that's just kind of how I've always been, though. Always looking for challenge and being good at sports. I mean, super competitive, so kind of had to fill that somehow.
And a lot of the athletes we talk to, they come from like a gymnastics background or a swimming background. And really, I've never heard anybody just say cross country. But you were doing CrossFit really from the age of 15. So you made the first big time podium finisher to go from CrossFit to CrossFit.
Yeah, I know. It is kind of interesting. I've had a couple people mention that, like, one of the first ones to like start super young and not have like a background and whatever, weightlifting or like you're saying. So yeah, it's definitely pretty cool for sure.
Well, and if Dave Castro has been espousing that is the wave of the future, it's no longer going to be the gymnast switching over to CrossFit. It's going to be someone who has been CrossFitting since they were little, hitting the podium in the future. And so you're kind of that first person to do that, and there may be a wave coming, which is pretty cool.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I think it's really cool. And I mean, the sport's obviously getting bigger. So yeah, I think that's going to how it has to be in the future. People are going to have to start young to be able to compete in it.
So, and then since 2017, you've been in the top 20 in the Open. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe so. I don't know about I think so in 2018. I just had, after the Open, I ended up having surgery on my knee. I don't remember how I did in the Open that year. I think it was somewhat decent, but yeah.
You were top 20.
Oh, okay, cool. Didn't even think about it.
So speaking of that, I want to ask you about that in 2000.
Yeah.
So we have something in common because I also had knee surgery in 2018.
Okay.
So what was yours? A meniscus tear?
Yeah, it was meniscus tear, yeah.
So what I'm hearing is there's still a chance for me to podium.
There we go. Heck yeah. 100%.
I might be 42, but I still feel like there's.
Let's go. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Let's go. I like it. Oh, I don't like it, but yep.
Yeah.
What'd you do to tear your meniscus?
I was actually coaching a class, and I was doing a PVC pipe thruster. No,
Okay.
It was just, they said, I had just done a workout before where it was heavy thrusters and box jumps, and they just think that the over wear and tear.
Got you. Yeah. That kind of a deal.
Yeah.
So what was that recovery like?
Man, I mean, there's a whole like story to it, to be honest. So before the 2017 regionals, I had hurt my back just like picking a dumbbell up. I didn't know how bad it was, but it was like 3 weeks out from regionals. So I kept training for regionals, got through regionals. I got second, qualified for the 2017 games. And then, I mean, back was still bugging me training for the 2017 games. And you know how it is, kind of like you start compensating and stuff. So then hurt my knee probably like 2 weeks before the games. I mean, kept going. I mean, and then did the 2017 games, obviously didn't do how I wanted to. I think I ended in 20th. And then I kind of figured out what was going on with the knee and the back. And my back actually was like a hairline fracture, which had, at that point after the games, my back wasn't bugging me too much because I don't know why, but ended up having a hairline fracture in my back and then a torn meniscus. So the doctor said that, I mean, the meniscus could heal on its own. So I kind of did like PRP, tried to do everything I could instead of having surgery because I just didn't want to. And then it got to the point after the 2018 Open, training for regionals, I just couldn't do it anymore and decided to have surgery. And then the recovery took quite a while, to be honest. I don't think I was like doing everything and feeling like 100% until like 6 months before the 2019 games. So I knew, I mean, I still got 13th of the 2019 games, which was sweet, but I knew that the 2020 games would be, I mean, obviously a lot better because I would have a full year training kind of a thing. So there's a whole kind of backstory. I mean, a lot of people are surprised at how the 2020 games went for me getting second, but a lot of people don't know exactly what I had to go through to get there kind of a thing and how it was. That'll make sense.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. And it kind of leads into, I looked at your career as a whole. One, you've been underrated ever since you came in, but at 20 years old, you make the games and finish top 20, 16th.
Yeah.
As a rookie at the age of 20. How you went unnoticed is hard for me to believe.
Yeah.
Then 17 comes and you have that little setback. You're still top 20.
Yep.
But not quite as good as you did your rookie year. And then the 18 year off.
I mean, yeah, there's a reason kind of why I don't know if necessarily say a reason, but the whole like sophomore year slump and then took a year off. So, I mean, people might've thought I was done. I don't know. So I've always kind of been, what you call it, underrated or not spoken about much the whole career. So, I mean, it's nothing new to me, to be honest.
And
it doesn't say that again.
Like a silent killer, you know, it's like,
yeah, exactly. I'll take it.
Yeah.
And then
Silent,
so you come back in 19 as you described, and you take 13th after coming off knee surgery. And that was a wild year. Like nobody even knew like how to qualify. Nobody knew what the season was going to look like. And then you get there and it's the year of the cuts. And you make it all the way to the last cut. And how close was that actually, like point wise? Did you have a shot at making the top 10 or?
Yeah, honestly, I think I went into the sprint in 12th. So that when I got cut, I mean, there was that like sprint. So I think I don't know. I don't remember the points. So I can't remember how close it was, but I think I ended up getting like 11th on the sprint and then it bumped me like back one spot. But yeah, I mean, I know everyone's kind of upset about the cuts. I mean, obviously I felt like I was pretty confident if I was able to continue the weekend, I would have got in that top 10. But I mean, it's my fault for not being there when I should have been. So it is what it is for that.
And then of course, 2020 turns out a lot better. And we'll get into that in a little more detail in a little bit, but you are working with CompTrain.
Yep.
So I know that your coach is actually is Harry.
Yep.
So how does that work? When you go to CompTrain, do they assign you a coach, or do you pick a coach from their group?
How it worked was, I mean, I just emailed CompTrain, like their generic email, and told them I was looking for a coach. And then I think Harry's the one that responded, and just that's who I was with. And I honestly wouldn't have it any different, to be honest. He's been an amazing coach, and he was definitely part of my success for this year in 2020 with helping me mentally, strategizing and programming. And I mean, he's taken on the role of a lot more than just, I think, a normal coach does. So it's been definitely a blessing working with him.
I've actually heard amazing things about him.
Yeah.
As a coach.
Mm-hmm.
And he's actually their main programmer, isn't he?
I believe so. Yeah, I think he is. Yeah.
Yeah, because our gym actually does CompTrain as well.
Oh, right on. Like that's cool. Like the open programming or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know they always have good stuff for sure.
So you've built a good relationship with Harry, and how long have you been with him?
About a year and a half, I think. I think I started working with him a couple months before the 2019 games. So been about a year and a half.
Yeah. And so I want to kind of talk about going into this games, right? You do phase one and you kind of surprise everybody and finish in the top 5. But for you, I mean, your goal was finishing top 8.
Yep.
Which is a weird goal. Most people say top 10 or top 5. Yep. But you went top 8 and you did better than that. You actually finished 4th.
Yep.
And so you make it to this unique CrossFit Games where only 5 people are there. And for someone who has flown under the radar for 4 years, now is getting a ton of exposure.
Yeah. Definitely weird for sure.
So what was that like for you? Did you, because I know, like, I saw you on 100 podcasts right before the games. What was that like going through all that?
Shoot. So, like after stage 1, after got top 5, I was getting hit up by a lot of people to do podcasts, and I tried to do pretty much as many as I could, pretty much to get my name out there, get a little more exposure than I have. So that's for that. And then once we got to the games, definitely. I mean, it was kind of weird with not having really any crowd, so it wasn't too crazy, to be honest, for that kind of stuff. But definitely like Instagram blowing up and stuff like that. But I'm sure we're going to get into it a little more, but having the top 5 there was super cool. I mean, got to know the athletes a little better. I mean, we got to talk to them a bunch. We had like a 40-minute drive to the ranch and a bus every time. So we had to talk a bunch. It was pretty cool.
And then you finished 2nd, which is a very large payout for a guy that doesn't do a lot of sanctionals and has flown under the radar. It's a 6-figure payout.
Yeah, let's go. How about that?
Yeah. So that's pretty awesome as well. And with the growth of the sport, and hopefully with Eric Rosa behind it, it's going to continue to grow, and those payouts will keep going to where you can be a professional athlete. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, hopefully, I think with Eric, it's going to move in the right direction 100%. And hopefully, I mean, everything keeps increasing fan base, prize payout, all that kind of stuff.
And so is that your goal, is to be just a professional CrossFit athlete?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, at this point, yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely possible for sure.
So I'm going to backtrack to 2016 in the StubHub Center, double DT. Rookie year, on the floor, and you kill it.
Yeah.
Get your first games win in your rookie season. What were the emotions like in that StubHub Center? And it was the last time that we were going to be there because they moved to Madison. Yeah,
I mean, 2016 was an awesome experience. I had a great time. Don't really have any complaints about that. But going to DT, honestly, I felt like crap. I think we had Murph before it, so I honestly didn't look around too much where everyone was at. I mean, I could hear the announcers, but I just kept doing my thing for DT, like 11 deadlifts and then hang clean, shoulder overhead and broken. And I think I was in the 3rd heat, so I still had one more to go. So finished that, knew I got first in my heat, but then went back to like the warm-up area to watch everyone else go. And I'm like, well, there's freaking Scott Panchik, there's Matt Frazier, all those guys are probably gonna be my time. And then when ended up winning it, obviously it was super sweet. It was dope for sure. Yeah, that was a awesome experience and one I'll remember forever.
Yeah, I hope you have pictures from that event.
Oh yeah,
you can put up somewhere someday, because that was super cool.
Yeah, no, it definitely was sweet.
And would you consider barbell cycling to be your jam, or?
Yes, I like cycling moderate to heavy barbell for sure. I think it was mostly I was able to make my money on those hang cleans, being able to bounce them off my quads. I mean, it's kind of hard with the short bar, so I don't think too many people did that, but that's how I was able to make my money, I think.
Awesome. So let's move to 2020. You know, you make it to this Final Five thing, and you go out to Aromas. You get to go out to the ranch, and you got to go to the ranch in 2016, right?
Yep.
So you're coming back, rookie season, you get to go to the ranch. Now this season, you kind of full circle, you're back there to try to be top 5 or maybe even on the podium. And so I saw you do some Instagram posts kind of about some of the events, and I just wanted to talk through some of them.
Yeah.
So you posted something about the corn sack sprint, and you took second on that.
Yeah.
And you described kind of the ascent up the hill.
Yep.
And as you go, how everybody's either falling off and how you felt as you went up the hill. And there's a point where you're like, then it was just Matt and I, and we're out in the lead, and we get 3/4 of the way, and my legs are dying.
There's nowhere really else to describe it. Yeah, like I said, to get like 3/4 the way up, and it's just me and Matt, and then Matt starts jogging. I mean, I start jogging too to try to keep up with him, and then legs literally just were, I don't even know how to describe it. Like the quads felt they were like shutting down, like they were gonna stop working. And I mean, I've had like my quads blow up on a salt bike all the time, but I've never had it like, crap, it's like the next step, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to move them. So I'm definitely glad that a couple of times I looked over my shoulder, no one was really close. So I was able to just do what I needed to do to get up that hill and finish in second. But that was definitely an interesting experience.
Yeah, the mental fortitude had to play a big role in that.
Definitely, yeah.
So then the next one I kind of looked at was your CrossFit total.
Yeah.
And how you almost kind of beat yourself up because you went a little conservative in your strategy.
Yeah, honestly, just the squat. But looking at it now, I don't think I've really changed too much. For people that don't know, I went on the squat. We had 3 attempts. I went 425, 445, and then 460. My first attempt, 425, felt fine. My 445 kind of felt heavy, so I was not going to make a big jump just because, I mean, don't want to risk missing it. And then my 460 felt like the easiest out of all of them, so I should have went heavier. Yeah, that's for that. My other lifts were about perfect. Just failed my last deadlift, big jump on that.
Yeah, I love that event. It's like, as a Clydesdale, because that's the name of our show here, is the Clydesdale Fitness and Friends.
Yeah.
The total's my thing. That's my jam.
Yeah. What's your total?
Well, my squat is like around you guys. I'm like 470.
Shoot, okay, got me on that.
And then my strict press is about 215.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And then my deadlift isn't great, and I'm coming off a back procedure, so that is where I would probably lose out.
What's the most you'd ever hit on deadlift?
Back in the day, I've deadlifted 500.
Okay. That's definitely impressive for sure too.
But now I'd be worried doing 400 probably.
Gotcha. I mean, you got to be smart with that back.
Also, you're 50.
What's that?
I said also you're 50 now.
I am 50 now. Yeah. So I got
like
the old man dad strength.
Hey, there we go. That's the best right there.
Yeah.
So then I want to talk to you about the ranch loop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not a great finish for you.
Nope. Terrible.
As a former cross-country runner, did your old cross-country coach call you, say what the heck happened there?
No, I'm friends with my cross-country coach's son, so I'm sure at some point I'm going to go over to his house, and man, yeah, that's pretty sad. Cross country weren't freaking running those huge hills though. But yeah, that event did not go my way.
Yeah. All right. So then we have Happy Star, kind of redemption on the running up the hill a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But we had some weight and some burpees. And you did well, second place.
Yep.
And actually that kind of started like a little run for you.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's probably
100%.
what put you on the podium.
Yeah, the little run for sure. Yeah, Happy Star. When Dave told us what it was, I think we had like a half an hour. Well, he told us like a half an hour in advance of what it was. I honestly thought it was stupid. I didn't want to do it. I was not looking forward to run up the hill. And thrusters are whatever. But after talking to my coach, we kind of had a strategy of being aggressive up the hill, and then just you recover on the downhill and recover on the burpees, and then just get through the thrusters. So that event, I think I started in the lead for the first 2 rounds, and whatever, Matt Frazier caught me. What's new? And then I think on the very last round, I think Noah caught up to me, and me and Noah got to the burpees about the same time, finished the burpees about the same time, which kind of sucked because I was like, great, there's just 11 thrusters at 165 between, me and him were head to head. So I was like, all right, fast walk over there. As long as I pick it up before him, I'm pretty confident I'd get it unbroken, and just sent it. That's the last set of 11 thrusters hurt real bad. And I'm sure, I don't know if you saw or not, but I was just laying on the freaking sand after that one. I was in some pain after that workout. I wanted a good finish on that one for sure.
Yeah. I think the commentator said you didn't care about your hygiene at that moment.
Yep. And my wife's reminded me a bunch about that. There'll be a bunch of videos on that. Mm-hmm.
So I got to ask, the burpee over the bar,
yeah.
It's higher than like a barbell, but it was lower than like lifting blocks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of an in-between thing. How did that affect you, or didn't it?
It didn't affect me. Honestly, the burpees were the easiest part of that whole workout. The getting over that didn't make no difference. It was pretty easy. Yeah. Didn't even have to think about it.
All right. So then on to your best event of the weekend, swimming stuff.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I heard you kind of describe it as you got to the pool and you didn't really know what was going on, and you saw all this stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
And you're trying to figure it out in your head. And then when Dave kind of explained it, you weren't sure how you were going to do in the event at all.
Yep. 100%.
So walk us through how you started to feel during.
Yeah. So yeah, it was assault bike swim, GHD, slam ball. Like you said, I had no idea how I was going to go. I hadn't got to test my swimming since like 2017. And I wasn't a great swimmer back then, but working on it a ton. But yeah, during that workout, it was all about the assault bike. Got through round 1 just fine. I think me and Noah were about finished at the same time. And then coming back, ending on the assault bike hurt pretty bad. I think me and Matt were done at the same time. And then that third round, I think I hammered the assault bike, and I think I was like 5 or 7 seconds ahead of everyone off the assault bike. And yeah, so I hammered the assault bike, and I think I took it felt like 2 seconds before I jumped in the water. But when I look on the video, it was like a half second. So I definitely kind of composed myself before jumping in the water because I was starting to feel it. Yeah, so anyway, got done with round 3. I knew I was in the lead coming down to the last round, but dude, the assault bike and my stomach don't always mesh very well. So yeah, finished round 3. And before starting round 4, I was honestly just going to trying to find a spot at the other end to throw up because, it was coming up. And that event, I think, hurt the worst out of any of them that weekend. That event hurt really bad. I think I've heard Noah, and I don't know about the other guys, but I know Noah said that one hurt real bad and probably the worst one.
So did you throw up, or was it just the big burp on camera?
Chief told us he threw up.
What's up?
The chief told us you threw up.
No, I didn't throw up. It was just that big burp.
Okay.
I thought it was coming up. I was surprised because I've thrown up plenty of times from that assault bike intervals. Yeah, just a sweet burp.
Okay.
I know. I looked at after that, like half an hour later, I looked at my phone and it was like you have 100 or 99 plus story notifications. I'm like, what the heck? And then I look at one of them and it's just like a meme of me burping. I'm like, oh, great. All right. that was funny for sure.
So what is it about interval work? Because whenever I do intervals, that's when I want to throw up.
Yeah.
Like every time I do Fight Gone Bad, I'm running out the back door.
Yep, dude. I don't know. I mean, it's just a lactic acid, heart rate spiked. You burned it down and then you got to recover again. I don't know what it is, but if you throw up, I mean, you definitely went hard enough, or you ate too soon before. Yeah.
True. So then we move on to like a really exciting event, and that is Sled Sprint.
Yep.
That last sprint that you put on, if you would have had another 5 yards, you would have got him.
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
And you know that in your mind, right? Like,
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that was, oh man, when that one got announced, I think it was like a week or a week and a half prior to the games. I knew I was fast in the sled because I was fast 2019. I was like, all right, that's my jam right there. That's the event I'm gonna win. So I was pretty confident going into that one, and I wanted to win. I wanted that one bad. I wanted to win it bad. And then, I mean, kind of the strategy going into it, I mean, it was a 100-yard sprint, 100-yard sled, 100-yard sprint, just that for time. So I sprint that first 100 yards, probably like 90% of my capacity, and I knew that it came down to the sled. So, I mean, crushing everything I had to get that sled done, and it was me and Matt had a sizable lead over everyone else, and I think he got over the line like half second before me, and then was like 5 yards ahead of me or something going into the last sprint, and it was just, I think he was still 5 yards ahead of me going into the 50-yard mark, so we had 50 left, and then I just noticed him starting to slow down, and I was just trying to close the gap, and that pretty much I gave everything I had, and if my chip timer was on the other foot, I would have beat him, but I mean, that's my own fault. The whole time before the event, they're like, got to get the chip time over. That's all that matters. But you're mid-stride. You can't really decide what leg's going to go over, you know? So, I mean, it was a definitely exciting race, and I wanted that one real bad. But
yeah, photo finish, your legs cross at the same time.
I know. Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, that dang chip timer.
I know, right? But it is what it is. It's my own fault.
Go ahead, Amy.
When Dave announced at Atlanta, what was your first thoughts?
I don't even know, to be honest. I'm like, dang, this sucks. I'm glad I have second locked up. It was honestly just the only thing I was really worried about. I knew I could get through the handstand push-ups. I knew I could get through the pull-ups. But it was the pistols. I was not looking forward to doing 200 pistols with a vest. But yeah, when he announced that event, I was like, oh, great. Well, just get through this one. I mean, obviously I wasn't dogging it. I was trying to do the best I can. And I mean, I did terrible on it. The really sucky part is my hands. When I got to like 80 pull-ups, my hands just started tearing real bad. And I was at 80. I had 220 pull-ups left to go. And at that point I was doing just them on my fingertips. So that was frustrating, but it was what it was. Just had to get through it.
Yeah, we talked to Christy O'Connell, who actually just lives down the street from us, and she's a big fan of the show. She tested that workout. She tested the whole weekend, the weekend before. And she said she ripped early, and she goes, I'm the biggest baby when it comes to ripped hands. Yeah. And I had to decide, do I want to be in pain staring at the bar or be in pain on the bar? And I just said, let's get through it.
Yep, don't really have another choice. I mean, I honestly, once I ripped, I just tried to not look at them and not show them to anyone because there's no reason to. Just tried to get her done.
Are they recovered today?
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of tell. I mean, where they ripped.
Yep.
Yeah. Man. They were pretty much recovered. I did some toast bar today, and they were all right.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you finished Atalantia. It's not your greatest event. You finished fifth, but you know you have second locked up. And as long as you can finish, you've met the minimum work requirement, and you're going to be on the podium.
Yep.
What's going through your head at that moment?
When I was finishing Atlanta, I was definitely like excited. I mean, it was a crappy way to kind of cap off the weekend.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, how cool would it have been if it was a sled sprint to cap it off? But obviously, I was happy. I mean, I did the work to get second, so no complaints really. I mean, other than just a sucky way to finish. But I was definitely stoked after it was done because you had to finish it to get on the podium, and I got her done. So that's all that mattered.
And so then you kind of they're getting everything ready, like to put up the podiums and make the official announcement and all that kind of stuff. And so what's kind of going on behind the scenes as they're getting all that ready? Are they letting other people on the ranch, or they?
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, my wife and son got to come to watch the last event. My wife and son weren't allowed to be there at all. They actually stayed at a friend's house that was really close to Rome, which was pretty sweet. But they were able to watch that last event, watch the podium and stuff. So that was definitely cool. I mean, there wasn't really too much of an announcement who got on the podium. At least I don't think so. I was in medical getting my hands taped up, so they had to come get me when they brought my second place shirt down and stuff like that, and then had to go run up to the podium. But other than that, I know they announced Matt and Tia, and then I didn't really see any of the rest of it.
Yeah, I think they put the podiums up and then kind of had you all run out with your shirts on, and then gave you the medal. But so you were in medical the whole time that was happening?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, I think I saw them raise Tia and Matt's hand, and then medical grabbed me, and we just kind of taped up my hands and did whatever we needed to, and then ran up and did the whole podium thing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then, so how did you celebrate?
Didn't do too much Sunday night. I think, we had to go we did a CrossFit dinner with Eric, which was super sweet. Had some good food. And then I think we got home Monday night, and we did a little family dinner thing to celebrate on Tuesday. And then I've been to a couple different my friend's house to celebrate. So I've celebrated multiple times. So ate plenty of junk food and crap these past 2 weeks. So definitely celebrated out. I'm done with it. It's all good.
So we've talked to a couple people that were there, a couple coaches, Matt O'Keefe, and they said there was a different vibe this year in comparison to other years.
Yeah.
And whether that was because Eric's leadership changed that around, and I mean, they said it certain ways. I'll let you kind of describe it, but they said there's just a different vibe there altogether.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a different vibe because, I mean, all of CrossFit staff the whole time. I mean, in years past, I feel like CrossFit the staff is so stressed out because they have so many people. They have to have them lining up for heats and get everyone where they need to be. I mean, just with the 10 people, I think it was a lot easier for them. So that was nice. I mean, like I said, we got to chat with them, got to know the CrossFit staff a little better. And then on the bus, we're all chatting with each other. So I definitely enjoyed the top 5 men and women. I mean, since we got to know each other a lot more and talk to them. So definitely a lot cooler of an environment than it has been in the past.
And Eric actually did some of the workouts after the day, and we probably wouldn't have saw that with our old CEO.
No. I think I saw Eric. I think the first time I saw Eric was Saturday afternoon, right before Happy Star, and then him and the Buttery Bros went and did Happy Star, and I was like, dang, when the dude took his shirt off, dude, Eric is ripped up. It's holy crap. Yeah, he did Happy Star, and then I think he did a version of the last workout too, which was crazy. Yeah, that's super impressive. I'm super glad that he is the CEO now.
Yeah, and the first time I saw him from afar from the broadcast he was at the sled sprint in the stands, kind of watching everything.
That's cool. That's really cool.
So yeah. What was your favorite event from the weekend, as just in composition and how it was put together?
My favorite event, I would have to say, honestly, either Happy Star, just because I kind of proved, at least to myself, how bad I wanted it, or the sled sprint, because it was just fun and exciting. So one of those two is kind of a toss-up.
So awesome. I know you participated in the games before.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, did your body feel differently after this year's games than it has in previous years?
Oh, yeah, because they kind of said this is the hardest games ever. I'm scared to say it because I don't know who's all going to listen to it, but I think this is the least sore I've ever came out of a games. I would say
Well, maybe
I
you were in such great shape this year that you were.
Okay, let's go with that.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what it is. I would say like 2016 was probably harder than this year. I mean, definitely there was like the last workout was super hard. Never done a workout like that. That was gnarly, but I wouldn't say it was like the hardest games. So I think by like what wrecked my body was the sandbag run made my quads sore all week, and then the max deadlift made my back sore. I think those are the really only two sore things after the weekend. And by like Tuesday, that had went away a couple days after the games.
Nice.
So what do you do when you're off time just to decompress, to get away from training and just either you and your wife or you alone just to kind of chill out?
Yeah. So, I mean, with my week off, I pretty much did a couple of big projects that had been on the back burner, like patching up, like there was a hole in our wall, and then like some lawn stuff, and pretty much hung out with my son and wife for pretty much the full first week. So that was super nice. Yeah, just had some family time that we haven't had in like the last 6 months because of games training was going on for like 6 months.
And I know that your wife is really supportive and she does things to help you out and help you be able to focus on training. Can you give her a shout out and what she does to help you?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, especially at the games, like every day she'd come and drop meals off. And I mean, I'm texting her the whole time and she's pretty much the one that's encouraging me. I mean, when I'm doing bad, I'm pretty much talking to her. So she's like helps with my nutrition and making food. I mean, I have a nutritionist that tells me what to eat, but she's the one that's making it, bringing me food and helping me mentally. So, I mean, she's definitely, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be where I am 100%. She is the first, I mean, she's been to the games like three times as my coach kind of a thing. So definitely a huge part of her helping. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to finish up my questioning with one last thing. Going into next year, we don't really know what the season's going to be yet.
Yeah.
You know, we've heard rumors. We've heard at least we know it's a shorter season.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. It's going to start in February and end maybe September-ish at the latest. So what are your plans for next year? And I'm assuming that your goal is now number one on the podium as opposed to number two.
Yeah. I can only really go up one spot now. Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. It's hard to like plan out the season because the whole virus thing. I mean, if the virus is not going to be a problem, which it probably is going to be, the plan is to do the Open and then hopefully like 2 big sanctionals, and then the games. Yeah, that's the tentative plan. I really haven't talked about. I've kind of tried to not talk about it. I mean, not think about it these past 2 weeks, but that's the general idea at least.
That's our plan, is to put a crink in your plans to make you think about it.
There we go.
But in your mind, do you believe you can beat Matt?
Yeah, especially after this year. 2019, I would say I averaged like a minute and a half behind him, and this year it was probably like 20 to 40 seconds behind him. I mean, unless I beat him or right next to him. So, I mean, to beat him at a games, he would have to have definitely some mess ups, and I would have to be perfect. But I mean, you're human, so I think anything's possible, definitely. So yes, that's the plan.
Well, let's go.
That's what we like to hear.
Yeah.
Well, Amy, do you have anything else?
No, I'm good.
Well, Sam, it was really fun talking to you in this little hour we had here.
Heck yeah.
Congratulations on second place and big podium finish, and people finally recognizing you for the athlete that you are.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm glad we got to talk with Leighton too.
Yeah, exactly. He enjoyed that too.
And we'll be rooting for you next season to get that top spot on the podium.
Right on. I appreciate that. Definitely nice to meet you guys too. It was fun talking to you as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll catch you soon.
Hey, right on. Have a good rest of your day, guys.
All right. You too.